everyone, and welcome back to the channel, Cap Social Network. So in today's video, man, oh man, do I have a great one that I know a lot of y'all gonna like. And this is on behalf of how the Black woman's masculinity will forever, let me phrase that, how the Black woman's masculinity will forever keep her single. Because fellas, admit it, how many of you are turned off by masculine Black females, especially when it comes to some of the most sexiest and finest Black American females and more shapely? With that being said, brothers, how many times have you seen a female that you may have wanted to holler at? And this could be, or will usually be, back before the social media days, before dating apps, when you had to approach women in person, or more guys, put another way, were approaching females in person. Think about how you may have seen a chick that just blew your mind. She was that bad. However, she happened to come across to a certain extent as masculine, where they may have been her having a blunt black and mild in her mouth, if not that, wearing a fitted hat, may have had multiple tattoos, because it's a well-known fact that there are several, I do mean several, Black American females, especially the ones that are in a 20 to 30 something age bracket, that love tattoos, multiple tattoos at that. Either that or she had a mouthful of goals. And another thing about women, Black women, specifically Black American women that are from the hood, they are known to like to drive big bodies. And what I mean by that are cars such as Impalas, old school Chevy Impalas, old school Chevy Caprices, which are and I'm talking about the ones that's shaped on the style of a box, the 1983 to early 90s, which ended, that body style ended around 89, either 89 or 90, those kind of Caprices and Impalas. And some like to go as far as having these cars customized by having big rims on them with sound systems in the trunks. I'm talking about sound systems where they may have around 312s or 215s in the trunk. On top of that, these same types of women use excessive profanity, just as much profanity, or in most cases more profanity than the average hood dude. They smoke weed just as much, or in some cases more, than the average hood dude. For crying out loud, females that actually have kids and happen to do things of that nature, from smoking weed to engaging in popping pills, drinking alcohol, in some cases all of the above. And some of them, from the time they wake up in the morning, they have to have a blunt, roll them up a blunt and smoke them some weed from the time they wake up in the morning. And this is on behalf of the ones that not only have kids, but the ones who don't have kids. But it's even a much worse look when they have kids. Usually, like I just stated, they will roll up a blunt as soon as they wake up and could say good morning, get their kids dressed for school. And this is on behalf of the ones that have kids that are young enough to be enrolled in school. Even when they when they're in the process of dropping their kids off to school, they could be in a car rolling up a blunt and getting high a blunt of weed, or as we say down south. I don't know if it's nationwide what y'all consider weed at, but that's what we consider it loud down here in Bama, where I'm at. When you drop, usually when a lot of y'all drop off y'all kids to school, you usually roll you up another blunt of weed, full of weed. And then not only that, but you like to lace it with other substances as well, other kind of drugs worse than that. Although weed in some states and cities is becoming more legalized, some of you like to take take it as far as rolling up, mixing it with angel dust. I'm just saying as a prime example. And that's one of the, whether you know it or not, ladies, to all my sisters, that's one of the main reasons why you will always remain single. And even on behalf of some of you that may have been divorced, not only is it usually on behalf of infidelity and lack of finances, but some men, you may usually divorce women. Some brothers, some black men usually divorce women on behalf of how masculine they become. Because how many times, fellas, have you been in arguments, domestic arguments, or domestic disputes with a sister, with a black woman, only for her to pull a heat out on you, pull a weapon, a pistol out on you? And with that being said, it's just as many or more black women that hold pistols nowadays as the men. That's another prime example of how there are quite a bit of Black American women, once again, in a 20-something-year-old age bracket, 30-something-year-old age bracket, even younger than that. I could go way younger than that, the teenage age bracket as well. And I would say one reason why there are several younger Black American women that come across as so masculine, so aggressive, is because some of them, when they were little girls, small girls, were molested usually by other females, where they may have been a friend of their mama or a female relative. In most cases, use a female relative, either you female friend of the mother or the female family member. Another reason why is because some of them don't usually have a positive role model to instill in them what it's like, what it all comes with to be all the way masculine. And whether you know it or not, ladies, that's one of the main pet peeves of us brothers when it comes to the dating scene. One of the main reasons why you have such a hardship in finding you a potential partner in a dating game is because of your masculinity. Because I can understand, and I will compare it to this, on behalf of females that don't want them a soft or a man who appears as feminine. I can understand that, just in case, another guy may approach you while you're in a relationship, when a guy either in a relationship with your main man, or you're married to him, and it just so happen that another guy may happen to approach you. Therefore, I can understand that under those circumstances, your main guy could be able to defend you if he's one of those guys that is hyper masculine, that doesn't play about his woman. But as far as this, when that being said, what I'm trying to say, and I do apologize for stumbling over my words again, when it comes to dealing with a masculine woman, what guy do you know, if he may happen to get jumped on by another dude, would like for his woman to intervene and have his back? It's usually the other way around, like I just stated. Anytime a woman may happen to get approached or in some cases attacked physically, either physically abused or verbally abused by another guy that's not her significant other, that's when she usually wants that masculine and hyper masculine guy to stand up for her, to fight the other guy in regards to her honor of being either physically abused once again or verbally abused. Anyway, and with that being said, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you several videos, several clips, all via TikTok, most of them on behalf of why there are so many modern day masculine Black women, Black American women. Also, some other clips on behalf of why it's a turnoff to quite a bit of Black men as far as dealing with a Black woman that's masculine. how that's a pet peeve, a big pet peeve in some cases in regards or anytime they may encounter a woman that is extremely masculine. Without further ado, I'm going to show all the clips. So here they go. Once again, bear with me, folks.
You black men are responsible for her being masculine because we have not helped her raise them children.
I am
and
not.
when I say help them raise them children, I don't mean you as the stepdad.
No,
I mean you as an active member in the community. She got masculine because she had to become masculine in order to deal with the rape, the abuse, the domestic violence, the disappointments that men had in her life, and also raising those kids and have to take care of herself all at the same time. The black woman has been the be all in all in our community for half of a century. And now we want to turn around and say because she didn't do it perfectly enough or remain feminine enough when she had to absorb our responsibilities plus her own, that's insensitive and disingenuous.
Men get mad at me because I challenge their masculinity.
Why is that though? Because I say this, and not saying why, but I'm saying our black women tend to seem to be very masculine. What is
That's because of how the men are acting nowadays. Men are acting quote unquote like bitches now. They want to be seen in public. They want to be dolled up. They want to be on social media. They want to be glamorous. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with my man looking good, fresh haircut, nice clothes. It's nothing wrong with that. But it's a lot of dudes out here that's acting like these females and being Instagram models and shit. Like they do too much.
So you're saying the man is not being manly enough, so the woman decides to be manly?
Enough. They not being a man. My thing is, I'm a woman. I don't mind being submissive, but I'm not being submissive to any man. I submit to a man that can lead me. If you cannot lead me, what am I bound down to you for?
But I'm just trying to figure out. But you can still be feminine and not be attached to a man. Why be masculine?
Because I can.
That's all I'm trying to figure out. Like, why would an individual take that route?
Regardless of how
masculine.
A lot of modern women have become too masculine for marriage.
First, we have to examine the origins of how black women were viewed in American society during slavery. Angela Davis wrote in her Legacy of Slavery, Standards for a New Womanhood. Proportionately, more Black women have always worked outside their homes than have their white sisters. The enormous space that work occupies in Black women's lives today follows a pattern established during the very earliest days of slavery. As slaves, compulsory labor overshadowed every aspect of women's existence. Additionally, the notion that enslaved Black women had the luxury of being relegated to domestic work is false. Similar to enslaved men, slave women were generally field workers. The only time slave women actually had access to their femininity was when they were raped or used as breeders. So as we examine masculinity and femininity in a contemporary way, we have to acknowledge that neither Black men nor women can actually reach the standards set by a white supremacist society. So right now, a lot of you are trying to assimilate into a system that is built to exclude you and harm you. The modern idea of femininity is inextricably linked to white supremacy, because in order for modern day femininity to exist, it required the subjugation of Black people to accomplish it. The only reason white women could exist in softness and domesticity is because of profit derived from the slave economy. So please, stop holding Black women to standards of white supremacy, because it's actually exhausting.
Now, I also wanted to mention this as well. How many of you brothers have known how every time you come across a woman, a Black woman that's usually feminine, especially the ones that are extremely feminine, because there are some that, well, let me rephrase that, and I do apologize, some that are masculine, extremely masculine, or either somewhat masculine, because there are some that come across as feminine during certain instances of when it's convenient. For instance, she may like to wear Jordans and fitted hats, which I consider as masculine, a masculine trait on a regular basis. Hoodies, in some cases, all or above, especially by being the season to wear hoodies. We're right in a heart of winter. Winter just started around a day or so ago. Now, there may be some instances, guys, brothers, where you may take these same types of women who used to like to wear that attire. On top of that, these same types of women have tattoos, excessive tattoos, may have crowns. What I mean by crowns is a bunch of gold teeth in their mouths. On top of that, may like to indulge in a lot of smoking, if not usually smoking blunts or weed, usually smoking cigarettes. Some may be able to tolerate smoking as much as 1 or 2 packs within a whole day. Something that I always have considered a much more manly trait when women that smoke, and period, even if they just may smoke 1 cigarette a day. And I always have looked at it as an unattractive trait in a woman. On top of that, these same women like to use excessive profanity. However, when they may be asked by a guy to go out on a date with him, they may use to change up their images by pretending to be very masculine. For instance, they may like to wear their hair, may happen to have that hair in a ponytail, but anytime when they, or may like to wear braids. I'm talking about the penitentiary type of cornrows, those kind. But anytime they may go out on a date with a guy, that's when they start to appear more feminine. For instance, they may have their hair straightened all the way down instead of the normal jailhouse braid or cornrow look. On top of that, may appear on the date to wear high heels, wearing a dress, even may wear makeup, lipstick, may completely change that image. Then this is just a prime example, brothers, of how some women that may appear masculine on a regular basis could change up that image and become feminine when it's convenient for them. That's when they may really like a guy and may be interested in a guy, especially the guy may hint around of how masculine women is a turn on to him. Some women in some regards could be with, or may used to be at first extremely masculine, and then if they may have a guy, may happen to come across a guy, meet a guy who they may happen to have deep feelings for these types of women. That's when some may have an epiphany and start becoming more feminine, just start to do a complete 180 or 360. Not in all cases, but in some cases, very few cases. Anyway, I also wanted to mention how if you've been around women, and this is for all my brothers, a lot of my brothers from the hood, including you hood dudes, women that are used to from the hood like to use terms that us guys in the hood may use, such as either bruh, my N word, what else? Bruh. They may say bruh, use it, bruh as a term, but may use it twice. It's in the form of bruh. If not that, my boy. Those are just a few examples of how I consider that as a masculine trait, and how some women like to use the same type of terms that hood dudes may use. And some prime examples in the media nowadays will be women by the likes of Gorilla, who comes across as very masculine. Even when she raps, she sounds harder and happens to rap harder than an average male rapper nowadays. If you pay attention to Sexy Red is known to wear fitted hats every now and then, has a whole bunch of tattoos. In the same breath, she comes across as somewhat feminine as well, and promiscuous, which is just perpetuates the stereotypes of how misunderstood black women are, and how typecast you could say the majority of black women are, from being the sassy type with the bad attitude and smart mouth, to being the type that's extremely masculine. Just to name a few examples of how black women always have been stereotyped and misunderstood, and are even more understood as of today. Being very aggressive, which also fits into the category of them being more masculine nowadays. In some cases, more masculine than the average hood dude. So let me go ahead and play a few more clips. The rest.
Anything for clans don't make sense. I gotta touch on a black woman is king. This whole situation is just out of control. It's funny how Hollywood can take an original story because they want to make something seem heroic and create their own narrative. This whole pretense of this story is based on a falsehood, basically. That didn't happen. These people this group of women pushed the agenda of the slave trade. You can go look that up. That's why it's really good that you make sure that you know history. But aside from that, let's touch on the fact how they're emasculating men by calling a woman king. And women don't even see this as a problem, which is crazy, that they're making y'all seem very masculine. You're seeming super masculine, and it's unattractive. And your sons are looking at this saying a black woman is king or a woman is king. And look what that's doing to his mind. Socially engineering him to be more feminine. And then to your daughter, oh, I could be a king. I don't need a king in my life. I don't need a man in the household. I don't need none of this. I'm a man. I'm a king. Destruction of the black household. Yet again. But this is what's going on continuously throughout Hollywood. You're seeing this happen over and over again. And this will continue to happen as long as we allow it. But we got to make a stand. We can't take this no more. They will even create a falsehood to corrupt your mind. This didn't even happen the way they said it. These people pushed the Atlantic slave trade. These group of tribe members. But they're trying to push it like they was some heroic going around liberating people. No, they're making, especially my race of women, they're already masculine. They're going to make them super masculine to the point where they're trying to push an agenda in Hollywood. And if y'all can't see that, you got to be careful what you watch. I didn't even watch this because just to hear that a black woman is king, I don't even want no parts of it. I don't want no parts of it because it's pushing something that shouldn't be done. That's why the black household is so broken right now. This is why we don't have no structure. We have no foundation because of this. It's ridiculous, man. We got to put a stop to this in Hollywood.
$200,000 plus, who can have any woman want you?
I would be coming in with also my own 6-figure salary.
Don't give a shit about your money. We don't care about your money or your career. Let me tell you ladies why this doesn't matter. Because we don't have access to it anyway, and you ain't gonna be spending it on us. So your money doesn't.
Why would you say that?
Who in general funds the relationship?
I would say men in general.
Right.
Fund.
What's the most you've ever spent on your man that's not a birthday, Christmas, or anniversary type gift, just on a Tuesday?
I spent a Tumi bag that I bought and it was like about $600.
$600. That ain't shit. I spent $600 at dinner. So I'm sorry, your 6-figure job and everything else don't mean shit to us. I could pull $600 worth of shit and throw it at this camera right now.
What's up, guys? I had a guy write me ask why I think women are so masculine these days. So what's my opinion on why are women so masculine nowadays in 2023? Well, I think these are my opinions on it. Some guys might agree, some people might disagree. It's just my opinion. I think there's three main reasons women are extremely masculine today. More like 2.5. The first one, and the one I think is the biggest, is too many sexual partners. I'm serious. I know a lot of women, especially the feminists, will hate this. And it's not anti-shaming. It's not against being a whore. It's not shaming you guys for doing that. But when you have so many sexual partners, women aren't designed that way. Women are monogamous by nature. They are not designed to have multiple partners. So when they catch feelings for this person and he leaves, and they catch person for this person and he leaves, and they give themselves to this person and they give themselves and they give themselves and they give themselves, and it keeps resulting in trauma and lack of trust. And trust is using anger, and they just become angry and like they very untrusting, very angry, very on edge, very like they just are all over the place. I think multiple sexual partners makes women fucking crazy and very masculine. When men fuck a lot of bitches, they're like, I'm gonna conquer the fucking world. I'm gonna fuck all these hoes. A woman's not supposed to be in that mindset. It really, I just think it makes them a little bit crazy. And it's just too much trauma. Way too much trauma. They get to see the worst in men. They get to see they get to see the worst in men, the best in men, this kind of guy, that kind of guy. They get the sex becomes very little. Giving themselves to somebody becomes very little. I think the number one reason they're so masculine is they have too many fucking sexual partners these days. Number two is they leave the house too early. They should stay at their daddy's house until they're ready to be married. Go from daddy's house to their new daddy's house, or to their, their partner, their husbands. When my daughters get old, I hope they go from my house to this man's house. I don't want them to have to live on their own and grit their fucking teeth and grind and try to make ends meet. So you have these women who are now moving out the house as soon as they turn 18, fucking tons of dudes and gritting their teeth trying to make ends meet. It's a result of just these masculine, barbaric, grotesque, Brutus ass women running around fucking puffing their chest and gritting their teeth trying to make ends meet. They're supposed to be soft and sweet and protected and taken care of and loved and get to be very feminine, but you got them moving out, providing for themselves, gritting teeth, having kids at young ages, and having a lot of sexual partners. That makes for a masculine ass woman. And that's the path most women take nowadays. Another very small thing is the music. Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, they rap like niggas. They don't even live the lives that they rap. They just spew that filth onto you guys. And I think the music doesn't help at all. It's just straight poison. So that's my opinion as to why women are so masculine right now.
Message from the pulpit. Take a look at this video and come back for commentary.
Sociological order to the culture we're living in now. Because we are raising up women to be men. And you are not applauded for your femininity. You are applauded in the contemporary society by how tough, rough, nasty, mean, aggressive, hateful, possessive you are, and you are climbing the corporate ladder, but we are losing our families. I know you can buy your own car. I know you can buy your own house, but until you create a need that I can pour into, I have no place in your life. So stop coming home bragging to me about how much you don't need me and wonder why I shy away.
Y'all back? Okay, first, if you are in a space where you don't care what a man thinks, what he wants, what he needs, just let me invite you to go ahead and now that our hearts and minds are clear and we're really here for clarity and understanding and we still care about relationships, let's talk. Now, I do agree with Bishop Jakes. One of the most important things is you have to know who you're with. And most men need to be respected, and some of them really need to feel needed. You need to know if that's the type of man that you're with. So you know to turn that masculinity all the way down, baby, because you don't need it. Hopefully you don't need it. I do not like this negative connotation of masculine energy in women. Get rid of it. Have you ever seen this movie, Divergent? Let me explain it to you really quickly. In the movie, their government studies what their talents are when they're kids, and they group them depending on what those skills are. So if you're good at cooking, they group you with the cooks. That's what you do for the rest of your life. If you are good at fighting, now you're in the military. Every now and again, a divergent comes along, and that's somebody that has multiple skills, and the government does not like those. They don't know what to do with those. So the divergents have to hide their talents, or they're at risk of being shunned or killed. It is a great analogy to explain divine femininity. The divine feminine understands that she has to be alluring, soft-spoken, well-kept, well-mannered. She understands that. She also understands that there's a need sometimes for dark feminine energy. Don't try it. You don't get all the secrets. Thirdly, she understands there is room for masculine energy, but she understands how to compartmentalize that. Some women have been forced further into their masculinity than others because of life circumstances, whatever they've gone through, and they've had to pull from that bucket more than they have others. That is not your fault, but it is your responsibility to learn how to compartmentalize and to pull from each one of those buckets. But we really have to be careful about letting all these opinions from the pulpit or otherwise, internet or otherwise, sway how we think about ourselves. Because on the flip side of that, too much feminine energy is dangerous as well. You can
Now, ladies and gentlemen, after looking at this female and listening to her, well, first and foremost, I just start out by saying, looking at her, she appears to be very feminine. And this is just a perfect example, a perfect prime how you cannot judge a book by its cover. Now, as the appearance of a woman, a sister that happens to be pretty feminine, on the flip side, she's justifying and defending Pastor T.D. Jakes' statement on how masculine women are more of a turnoff to men as opposed to feminine women. And when that being said, I'm just assuming she's one of those feminists who feels like whatever pretty much a male could do, then the same rules shall apply to a woman. When that being said, I wouldn't doubt it if she believes in having sex with a whole lot of guys. I'm just saying, I could be wrong, don't quote me on it, but just after hearing her point of view on how she's defending what Pastor Jakes just stated on how feminine, well, let me phrase that, and I do apologize once again, aggressive and masculine women are turnoffs to men. I wouldn't be surprised once again if this same lady feels like if a woman had sex with a whole lot of guys, then it should be the same as men having sex with a whole lot of women. The same exact rule should apply to men, where women that have sex with lots of men as opposed to men that have sex with lots of women. With that being said, I say that it because of how us men get a pat on the back, so to speak, and our props, as opposed to when women do it, they get shamed and a lot of backlash for it. That's why I'm saying this is my perspective on why I feel like this woman happens to be one of those types of women, of feminists, when it all boils down to it. Anyway, let me proceed. And after this clip, I want to play one more clip, one last clip on behalf of TikTok that I happen to save on my TikTok page as one of my favorites. So let me proceed once again.
Can become a doormat. You can compromise your standards, have no boundaries, and stagnant in whatever areas of your life that you want to grow. You need some masculine energy, but you need to understand when to what? Be a divergent.
If I'm too masculine around you, it's simply because I'm not for you. You're not the man for me, and I'm not the woman for you, because women naturally submit to men that they feel safe and comfortable around. Baby, the math is not mathing. And I have said this once, and I will say it again. No man wants no aggressive ass woman. If you're upset about something and you're talking with a little bit more aggression in your voice, a little bit more passion in your voice, okay. But when you just over the top aggressive, don't nobody want to deal with that. And no man wants a woman with all this aggression and masculine ass energy. And I've never understood why so many women don't understand that. Because let you detect any type of feminine energy in a man, y'all will drag him through the mud. Hell, men can't even eat certain foods or drink certain drinks at a restaurant without y'all trying to say he's feminine. But you want him to deal with that aggressive ass masculine personality that you got. If I'm too masculine,
Well, after seeing that very last clip, they sure said a mouthful, didn't it? And I commend them all the way on how they stated how the average man does not want them an aggressive nor a masculine woman. By the way, both of these women, unlike the last woman in the last clip, who happened to possess a feminine look, an all the way feminine look. However, how she looks or looked in the last clip contradicted completely her perspective of the feedback she gave in the last clip. But unlike her, these two women not only happen to demonstrate both a feminine look and feminine energy, and if I did say, I can't quite recall if I did just say how in the last clip with the last sister, she demonstrated, I may have said masculine energy. What I meant to say, and forgive me for saying masculine energy, feminine energy, just judging by her appearance, her looks, only to contradict her appearance by defending how women should always have or possess masculine tendencies and masculine characteristics. Unlike her, unlike the last sister, and let me rephrase that. These two sisters in the very last clip of this video happen to hit it spot on. And you heard it just then from the horse's mouth, so to speak, on how they feel both of them gave an excellent perspective, in my personal honest opinion, on why no man hardly wants, and to each their own, because there are a few men that don't mind being with a masculine woman. Personally, I feel like there are more men who look at masculine women, both masculine and aggressive women, as a turnoff and a pet peeve, as opposed to women that are feminine, especially when it comes to choosing a woman that's extremely masculine and extremely feminine. The average man, judging from my perspective, would prefer a woman that's extremely feminine. It's just is what it is. I'm just calling a spade a spade. Anyways, happy holidays to all of you. Happy early Christmas. Happy early New Year's to you. Last but not least, make sure you like the video, you share, you comment on it, ladies. And ladies, if you took offense that what I said, my 2 cents and my feedback on this here topic, just take it as food for thought. Both food for thought, so to speak, and constructive criticism. Anyway, guys, I'm going to end this video. Also, and last but not least, make sure you subscribe to the channel. So, with all that being said, you guys have a blessed holiday, and I'm out.